This is weird. So I'm going to set it up like this.
I like it.
We've got a glider that sits in our youngest child's room, has been in the nursery. And the backstory behind this is my mom and Janelle, when we were Janelle was pregnant with Zoe. You know, you do the baby shower stuff for the first one, all that other stuff. And Janelle said, or my mom said, Janelle, we're going to go and we're going to find you a rocker or a glider that you want that you can be in the nursery. And at the time, like when they came home with this big heavy chair, I was like, what the hell are we going to do with this? Like, didn't think anything of it. It was just another chair. And now fast forward like 7 years, I was sitting in it, 6 years, sitting in it and rocking old Rhett Man. We were just chilling before going to bed. And I kind of had a moment of thought of how special this chair has become, how this glider has become. It's a very nice glider. It's great. You guys have been in the house. You've seen it, I'm sure. But the significance of it has grown so much more because, for one, that was a special moment for my mom and Janelle. And obviously, mom would pass, a year later, or a little bit year plus. But, that there was never another one of those that was done. And it was a special trip between those two. And the fact that we've sat in it for countless hours when you're rocking a sick child or, feeding a child or, snuggling before bed. And it started to grow on me that has this become a family heirloom for us? Like for my first generation, like it's a first generation family heirloom. And it's a weird thought, but it's like, how does something become an heirloom? And then do you have anything in your house where you're like, hey, maybe it's a second generation, or maybe, it's like the old story of the old family shotgun or family Bible that sits above the mantle place that, is something like that. But this glider that, to me, when we first got it, seemed very insignificant, has turned into something that has such deep and special meaning because it's where, we rocked the kids and we soothed the kids. And, it was a big purchase by my mother and Janelle together. And there's just that backstory behind it. But that's what I was wondering about. I know it's a little deep kind of situation, but I don't know. I was thinking about it because there's like stuff like, people have old pottery. Dad's got a lot of it. It's cool. It's neat, but I'm not a fanatic about it. There's some other cool things that I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like I would like to have that, but there's others where I'm like, it doesn't tickle my fancy. But I was just wondering if you guys had anything where you're like, oh yeah, dead set, we've got something exactly like that. It means a lot, and any backstory to it.
A valuable object that has belonged to a family for several generations, and or heirlooms connect past generations to the present and are physical representations of the stories that shape your family's history. I have several.
I'm not surprised by that.
And so does the warden.
The warden has joined us in the lounge.
But they have like my great grandfather on my dad's side was a chair maker by trade. And it stemmed all the way to like Jacksonville, Florida, to Masonner Chair down there. And then, came back up here. My dad moved to Florida when he was like 3 and lived there for not even a year. I think it wasn't very long, just while Bill went down there to help. I don't really know the story about that, but there was some time spent in Florida, but then he came back up. One of Grandpa's brothers stayed down there and did that stuff. And then, anyway, I've got several chairs that were made by my great-grandfather's chair making hands.
Yeah.
And then I've got a shit ton of pieces of furniture that were made by my grandfather. And I've got a shit ton of quilts that were made by my grandmother. So
we've got Grandma Lindemann used to make Afghans.
Yeah.
And there's
big knitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've got some wild colored ones. We've got some pretty like just run of the mill. But yeah, we've got them.
So like heirlooms, I don't think I have as many heirlooms as say like my mom and dad have.
Yeah,
a lot of heirlooms.
Well, that's how that naturally.
So like my mom has some really wicked old. You ever heard of a chifforobe? So like a chifforobe and you know what a deacon's bench is? So it's like a piece of furniture that's got like it's like a high backed looking bench and it's got a storage thing that opens up.
Oh,
Yeah.
So like an old ass deacon's bench and just a shit ton of like really, really, really old furniture that was passed down by like her grandparents or something. Bunch of antique shit that my mom has. But
yeah.
I mean, and just the warden Justine, she has a bunch of basically heirlooms that were passed down by her great grandma. Like she's got a lot of stuff from her great grandma and shit like that. But when you say stuff, you know what I mean? That is, even though it was theirs, maybe it wasn't like super significant. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I think there's got to be a backstory behind it.
Yeah. I don't know. I cherish a lot of guns. Like my dad, like I've got a few that were given. Can I say guns openly like that?
You did earlier talking about the QUGA.
Can I say that openly?
Sure.
I guess we're here there now,
I'm
huh?
going to try.
Well, we're not
Yeah.
as long as we're not showing any. Like if you pull
pew
your
pews.
Glock out.
That just sounds weird when you say that.
Don't say that. We're
But
adults.
there's like heirlooms like that were bought. They were bought by my grandfather for my dad, and then my dad let me keep them at my house. You know what I mean? So like that, you know, those are special. You know what I mean? Like those are things that'll never leave. She's got one that was handed to her by her great grandfather. So it's like, you know, shit like that. You know, we've got stuff like that. You know?
Grandma Lindemann's old cookbook was out on 500 West.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Dave, anything? You got anything that comes to mind?
Oh, there's some trinkets in there around the house, I suppose. Pocket knives and, you know, little shit like that. Nothing too old, though.
Got that old sweet ass snap on toolbox over there.
That was.
You know what's going to be a first generation heirloom? Mine's a glider. His is going to be that side by side.
Turquoise turtle.
Turquoise turtle.
No
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, the turquoise.
They're going
man.
to fight over that thing, man.
That's why I got 3 pieces of it.
Unbelievable.
So who does the turtle go to?
I know.
Whoever wins the fight, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, White's leading the charge right now. Wild Bill could be.
Goddamn, he ain't going to die tomorrow. Let's hope. Knock on wood. Hopefully, whenever smoke goes, Wyatt's a
older man,
and Will Billy's ready to rip and tear by then.
Yeah, we'll probably just keep it. He'll be living in the basement anyway.
Wild Bill or Wyatt?
I don't know. I guarantee you, my vote's Weston. Weston's going to be living in a teepee in your backyard for his whole life.
No, I don't think so.
Them boys will get out of the house.
He's going to find. I don't think Weston will stick around home.
You don't?
Nah.
He's going to find his niche.
Don't know what it is.
Like you just think he's got that adventure bug in him, or
bruh? He's going to find some other skibbity bruh talkers, and he'll join up with them. And,
they'll be doing like a trip out there, like our buddy old Chuck Kramer there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's weird to think about. Do you believe your kid? I guess mine are too young to even think that there's that possibility. Now, I do see someday my wife, kind of like LeBron and LeBron's son, playing basketball together.
You think Zoe and
she wants
they'll
to be
practicing together?
She wants to be a veterinarian. I'll be like, hey, does anybody want to be a lawyer? No. Sweet guys, thanks. Because I think Zoe wants to be a veterinarian. Ryan wants to be a police officer or a fireman. And then Rhett just
Chase on the case.
Yeah. And then Rhett has not voiced an opinion, but, you know.
William's last check-in, he wants to be a mad scientist.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Hey, you want to know a good one? Probably one of the best ones I've ever heard.
What's that?
So whenever Justine's little brother, Grant Jackson, whenever he was a little feller, he wanted to be a professional t-ball player and a moth farmer.
Hell yeah. Well,
be a moth
when they did like when
Like,
Zoe and them graduated from preschool.
no astronauts, no
Yeah.
fireman, no nothing. He wanted to be a moth.
Well, Zoe, so they did the preschool graduation from Hummingbird, and everybody was like, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be this. And it got to Zoe, and she's like, I want to be a unicorn that flies. And I was just like,
yes.
I was like, little girl, you just keep that creativity.
Hell yeah.
And then, like, I was looking around because obviously people knew that was our daughter, and I was like, that's the most real answer. None of these assholes know they want to be a freaking doctor or they want to be this or that. That's the most real answer there. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Not to really kick this horse in a mud hole here, but what if you had to? I mean, yours is obviously the glider so far,
Yeah, the glider.
and then like, something that sticks out for me was the chairs, and then like a couple of the guns. But is there any one thing
like first generation, or
like you said, a couple trinkets and this and that, but like, is there something this one that jumps out at you?
outside of the side by side?
No.
See, now those butchering knives that you got, are any of those family heirlooms?
No.
See, that could be your first generation heirloom. You get them boys into butchering like that.
Yeah.
Start a real thing.
See if they get into it. So far, they've
Avoided it like the plague.
not really, but they
Interested.
from afar.
Yeah, I don't really feel like letting my kids loose with a bunch of knives either at the ripe old age of 6th grade. Because usually I'm not in no shape to go to no damn hospital after butchering anyway. So,
Hey, you got a, speaking of your kids, student of the month this month?
yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, she's one of a kind. I really like the little the memento that her teacher wrote describing why she was chose this year.
So Zoe was in December, nothing.
Wild.
Yeah. I was like, did you even really get it? And she's like, no, Dad, like got all the stuff with it. And I was like, oh, just no post about it.
Ah, but damn.
Yeah. But you know what time?
Editor.
Let's take a break. Oh, what'd you say?
I said I'd write the editor. That was from the
We should. Let's write the editor.
We just put them up. We won't describe it. We won't talk about it, but we'll
You.